Lucas stood by the hospital window, staring at the city lights below. Buildings carried his name, yet his heart felt empty. Behind him lay his wife, quiet and weak, breathing slowly. In a tired voice, he whispered, "I don't know how much longer I can do this." But what Lucas didn't know was that God was already at work. Lucas was known as a billionaire, a self-made man, respected, admired, envied. People saw his success, his confidence, his power. What they didn't see was the long journey behind it and the woman who walked every step with him. Her name was Mariam. Mariam was older than Lucas by several years. She had gentle eyes, silver strands in her hair, and a calm presence that felt like peace. When Lucas had nothing but dreams, Mariam had faith. She worked extra hours so he could study. She prayed when his first business failed. She held his hands and said, "God doesn't rush, He prepares." In those days, Lucas listened. They lived simply, shared small meals, thanked God for little things. But time changed everything. As Lucas became successful, life became louder. Meetings replaced prayers, awards replaced dinners, silence replaced conversation. Mariam aged quietly. Her steps slowed, her memory softened. When illness arrived, it didn't come dramatically. It came gently and stayed. Doctors spoke carefully. "It's a long road," they said. Lucas paid for the best treatment, private nurses, private rooms. But patience cannot be bought. At social events, Lucas noticed the stares, the pauses, the whispers. One evening after a long gala, Lucas sighed heavily in the car. Mariam asked softly, "Are you tired?" He didn't answer. That silence hurt her more than any harsh word. At home, Lucas started sleeping in another room. He told himself it was stress, work pressure, responsibilities. But deep inside, something darker grew. One night, after Mariam struggled to walk across the room, Lucas said something he would later regret. "This isn't the life I imagined," he said. "I need peace." Mariam looked at him, her voice calm. "Peace doesn't come from escaping," she said. "It comes from staying." Lucas turned away. He felt trapped, ashamed, tired. In his heart, he had already begun to give up. A quiet faith. Mariam never complained, never begged. She prayed quietly, sometimes alone, sometimes with tears she never showed Lucas. One afternoon, Lucas entered her room to sign documents. She was sitting by the window, holding prayer beads. She smiled gently. "You look busy," she said. "I won't keep you." "Why do you always act like everything is fine?" he snapped. Mariam looked at him calmly. "Because love doesn't disappear when strength does," she replied. That night, Lucas made a decision. He would move her to a long-term care facility. "It's better," he told himself. "It's practical." But the truth was, it was easier. On the day Mariam was moved, Lucas stood in the hospital hallway checking his phone. A nurse approached quietly. "She's asking for you." Lucas hesitated, then walked in. Mariam reached for his hand, her grip weak but warm. "Do you remember," she whispered, "the night you failed your first business?" Lucas frowned. "Why now?" She smiled faintly. "You sat on the floor and said, 'I'm nothing.' And I told you, 'God isn't finished with you yet.'" Lucas swallowed hard. "I still believe that," she said. "For you and for us." Tears burned his eyes, but he turned away. That night, Lucas went home alone. For the first time in years, the house felt empty. Not quiet, empty. He sat in the dark, unable to sleep. Then his phone rang. "Mariam has taken a turn," the nurse said. "You should come." Lucas rushed back to the hospital. Machines beeped softly. Mariam lay unconscious. The doctor spoke gently. She may not have much time. Lucas collapsed into the chair beside her. For the first time, he prayed. Not loudly, not confidently, just honestly. God, I don't know how to love like she did, he whispered. But please, don't take her yet. He held her hand and cried. A miracle of the heart. Hours passed. Then Mariam's fingers moved. Her eyes slowly opened. She looked at Lucas and whispered, You came back. Lucas broke down. I'm sorry, he said. I forgot who I was when I forgot you. A tear slid down her cheek. God never forgot us, she whispered. In that moment, Lucas understood. The miracle wasn't money or healing. It was the chance to choose love again. Lucas canceled everything. Meetings, trips, events. He stayed. He fed her, read to her, prayed with her. People were shocked when they saw him pushing her wheelchair in the garden, holding her hand at appointments. Someone once asked him, Isn't it hard? Lucas smiled gently. No, he said. What's hard is losing what matters. Mariam grew weaker, but happier. One evening she said, If God calls me soon, promise me one thing. Lucas nodded. Love people when they are inconvenient, she whispered. That's when love matters most. Ending. Mariam passed away peacefully weeks later, with Lucas holding her hand, praying. Lucas later built a care center, not with his name on it, but hers, because he learned the truth too many forget. Love is not about youth, not about ease, not about pride. Sometimes when we give up, God is just getting started. Sometimes the greatest miracles happen when the heart finally listens.